dedication and determination. If I choose to do something, I ensure that I complete it. It is like a big family. Half our New Year's used to be spent in the deserts only. Lots of adventure and excitement in the army. If your general knowledge is good, your base is strong, then you can talk on anything and you can talk with conviction. So that is one thing. And second thing is you have to be your natural self. So that is what is important. And above all, most important thing is that you should have the fire in your belly to join not only armed forces, any kind of profession. We have a saying that the more you sweat in peace, less you breathe in war. Tough time never lasts, tough people always do.
So myself Gaurav Garg, and we welcome all our viewers to our show Amazing Mentor. Today with us is Colonel Aditya Singhal.
He is veteran from Armored Corps with 33 years of experience
In different fields of operation, training and development, equipment management, administrative and HR management role in armed forces, National Cadet Corps and training establishment. It's a pleasure to welcome you to our show, sir.
Thank you, Gaurav. Honor to be on your show. You're doing an amazing job.
Thank you very much, sir. So tell us about your childhood and hobbies you enjoyed as a child, sir.
As a child, initial 14 years of my childhood was spent in J&K. My father moved to Srinagar in 1962 and I started my schooling from Burnhall School in Srinagar. Later classes I was there in Kendriya Vidyalaya school because the advantage was that you could shift from one school place to other without any break in your studies. In 74 we shifted to Jaipur. And then later part of my schooling and studies I did from Jaipur. I did my 10th in 1977 and 12th in 1979. As far as hobbies is concerned, those days we were more of outdoor children because there was no TV, there was no internet, nothing was there. And otherwise, as sports are concerned, I used to play cricket. Reading was another good hobby. That was it as far as the hobbies are concerned. Plus, those days we had this stamp collection used to be a very good hobby for everyone. We used to collect stamps and coins and those kinds of things.
So what was your dream profession as a child?
Those days, actually, we did not have any kind of exposure or any kind of thing like what children have today. Those days, they were the only either you could become an engineer or a doctor, or you could join armed forces or police forces or Indian administrative services.
What was the reason to choose Indian Army as the career?
In school days, that time everyone used to appear for NDA, and those days it was very difficult to pass the written exam for NDA. The SSB interview used to be a little easier, so I did appear for NDA. Found it difficult to continue with science, so I switched over to commerce. So I finished my graduation with BCom. When I finished my BCom, one of my uncles was in the Air Force, and another uncle was in Navy. And as a commerce graduate, you had the option of either going in for chartered accountancy or ICWA. And those days, even those two things were very difficult. You had to work under a chartered accountant as an assistant, and you had to continue giving exams, and people used to take 5 to 6 years to complete it. And one of my very close classmates from school, he had joined the academy after doing his graduation. So that was another reason which motivated me to try for the army.
So when you decided to choose Army as your career, what all challenges you faced while preparing for the examination?
As I told you earlier, I had already completed my graduation, and since I had done my course in computer programming, I had also started working as a computer programmer with a private company. And simultaneously, I was also preparing for my written exams. Written exam for CDS was comparatively easier as compared to NDA because in NDA, your focus was on maths and science subjects more. So I cleared my written exam, and then I was simultaneously preparing for my SSB. And while doing so, I was also working as a computer programmer. When I went for my first time to SSB, I think I went Allahabad. I got conference out. Now they say conference out. That time we did not know what exactly it was. So that was a challenge because when you go there and try initial phases of my life, I think I faced a lot of challenge in the form of setbacks and failures. So that made you more stronger and made your resolve stronger to do well. And finally, in my third attempt, I was going for an interview to be a computer programmer in Delhi. I attended the interview, got selected. After 2 days, I had to go to Bangalore for my SSB. So I told those guys that I have got selected, but I will join only later. I went to Bangalore, I got selected. I cleared my medical exam. Then thereafter, I decided ki thank you. Now this is my career. Otherwise, I was at that stage. Computer programming was a very very good career for people.
Yeah, what was the reaction of your parents when they came to know, okay, you have been selected as an officer?
My parents were obviously very happy and very proud because in those days, getting a job which is secure, it provides you financial security and it provides you stability in your life was more important. Unlike what happens today, like where people keep on switching jobs very frequently. So when I got selected as an officer in the army, and so it was a very proud moment for them. When we used to pass out, so your parents used to come and attend your passing out parade in academy. So I remember my parents and my younger brothers, all of them came to attend my passing out parade. So it was a very proud and happy moment for my parents.
So, how was your early days as an officer, and what all changes after being an officer brings to your personal and professional life?
Initially, like those days, we used to get commissioned as a second lieutenant. So I got commissioned into 68 Armored Regiment. Those days, Armored Corps used to be considered as an elite arm in the army. So getting commissioned in the Armored Regiment, as it is a matter of great pride for me. And when I joined the regiment, so initially you have to establish yourself professionally and personally also in front of the men you are commanding. So in a regiment, you join as a troop leader and have 3 tanks under you. You have a team of about 15 men under you. So you had to compete with them in terms of firstly learn about the equipment, and you have to be better than them professionally. So that was a big challenge. You have to first learn from them only. And in addition to that, you used to participate with them in sports and other physical activities. There also you're supposed to be performing better than your men. Then only you can gain respect of your men, and then they will be ready to do anything for you. It was a very nice and good experience. You learned from them, and later on, those bonding which we formed with them continued even now.
So, what all departments have you handled in your course of career?
As you grow in your rank and service, start as a troop leader, then you become a squadron 2IC, then you become a squadron commander. So these are the roles which you play as a commanding your troops. Then you also have administrative and management kind of a thing. So you have an adjutant, you are a quartermaster in the unit. So I did all those appointments when I was in the regiment. And also, in addition to that, you are posted out of your unit to other headquarters to do staff appointments. So I have been into operations, like I was posted as a G3 operations of the Armored Brigade. Then later on, I went as a G2 War Games in Army Training Command. Then also I was posted in CI operations in Baramulla. And also did an instructional tenure in Army Training Establishment here in Pune, called College of Military Engineering. I was posted as instructor in faculty of NBC warfare. So all these things, you actually become more of a jack of all. These are the professional roles which you play. In addition, you also have other activities like managing your officers' mess, managing your welfare, their planning. Training is a very important role which you continue to do right from the day you join the army until the end. And also you continue attending and qualifying on various professional courses also. When I joined the army, I thought I don't have to study anymore, but later on I realized you have to study much more in the army than you had to study outside. But it was like very interesting thing. And in addition, I also got a chance to serve in the J&K. I got a chance to serve in Kargil on the line of control when nobody had heard about that place. I went there in 1992 as a young captain. Being in the Armored Corps, most of the time we operated in the deserts of Rajasthan and plains of Punjab. So you have literally traveled from Kashmir to Kanyakumari as part of your journey. In addition, I also did a tenure with National Cadet Corps. There I was posted as a commanding officer. Commanded 2 units, one unit in Mehsana in Ahmedabad for 2 years and one in Udupi in Karnataka. So that was another different kind of experience because there you were training the young school boys and girls.
So, any heart-touching moment you would like to share in your journey as an officer?
Heart-touching moment, there have been a lot of them at various stages of life. 2 main operations which took place during my service. One was off Vijay when the Kargil thing happened, and second was off Parakram when again after the attack on Parliament. As an officer, especially when we moved for the first time in 1999 during Vijay. So we knew that you're going to be launched into operations and you have to be well prepared, and you're leaving your family behind. And that time my daughter was just about 2 years old and my son was just about 4 years old. So our system is such that your family and your children are looked after very well in the unit and in the army as such. So that was one moment where in your heart of hearts you knew that you really, whether you'll come back or not, because if you're launched in the operations, then you know how things may turn around. But so that was kind of a experience heart-touching. But otherwise, a lot of times you have to stay away from your family. Half the time you're not able to participate in any of the functions, so you have missed a lot of birthdays and anniversaries and family functions.
So what are the area you want to improve on?
I served in the army for almost 33 years, and I re-attired, I would say. We don't say retired. I re-attired from my uniform to the civil clothes in September last year. And so what I decided to do was, when I was in NCC, I saw the cadets, they had a lot of energy in them. They wanted to join the armed forces there, but the thing was they did not get the proper guidance as to how to prepare for the exam, how to prepare for the interview. So I decided to look after this aspects, and so I have been working on it to train the youngsters on, if they want to join the armed forces, how to prepare for the examination. And for them, the SSB is a more tougher job. So I decided to help the youth to prepare better, not only if they want to join the armed forces, but otherwise also in any kind of a career.
What about your strength?
My strength is first is my humility, my dedication and determination. If I choose to do something, I ensure that I complete it. And of course, integrity and sincerity towards your work and also towards your organization. In addition, also, I like to help people. I can't say no to anyone. If anybody comes to me for any kind of help, I will go all out to help him or her in whatever way possible it is for me.
If a student or any new generation want to join army, what all challenges should he or she be prepared for?
If you want to join the army, I would say, whether it is army or navy or air force, especially what I feel these days, IT is one sector where everybody wants to do computer science or IT or computer engineering and go into IT company. If you want to join the armed forces, one thing is you should have that fire in your belly. You should have that focus and determination. Yes, I want to join it. Whether it is army, navy or air force, then you have to have a single-minded focus and you have to work hard. You have to prepare for it. They are not looking for geniuses to join the army. You are looking for average or above average people who can easily gel themselves into a team, who can work with other people without any kind of problems or ego issues. And also one has to prepare oneself mentally. And also, of course, the life is definitely tougher than what it is for any other profession. If you're in the Air Force, every time you go out on a sortie, even if training sortie, the pilot is totally dependent upon the entire crew and the service ground staff who are looking after the aircraft. But once he is in the air, he's on his own. Every time he goes out there in the sky, he is not really very sure whether he's going to come back alive or not. Similarly, in the Navy, you are out on the sea for long periods of time because of your exigencies. In Army also, we were out in the field in the exercise areas. But of course, this is one part. Other part is it is like a big family. There's lots of adventure and excitement in the Army.
So, what was the most challenging operation of your career?
Challenging operations would be, one was we were deployed for almost 6 months in the deserts away from the civilization, out of communication. Then in Parakram, we were out there for the entire year. We moved from our units ready to be launched, but that never happened. Another incident was when I was posted in Kargil. I was deployed as a post commander in the Kargil sector. So I was there for almost 6 months. So summers is still better, but when winters come in, and everything freezes around you, there's no water. If you had to melt snow to make water even for your normal uses. More of a learning, I would say, rather than a challenge. And every challenge also makes you more stronger and it teaches you new things in life.
Any moment in your career journey which made you think to quit your post or to quit your job?
No. In the armed forces, there's one thing we ask is a pyramidal structure. So everybody becomes a lieutenant colonel, and from lieutenant colonel to colonel, you have promotion selection board, wherein the vacancies are limited and number of people are there. So you know it is all merit-based thing. So living a particular regimented kind of a life, at times a lot of people find themselves very difficult to adapt to the work outside. So I never wanted to leave.
Do you have any mentor in life?
Yes, we at every stage, like our system is such, when you join the regiment, we have a system of senior subaltern. So what happens is when you join the regiment, the senior most lieutenant is known as a senior subaltern, who is responsible for you to train you not only about your professional things, but also your social behavior. and also learn about the entire unit. Like we have the system of learning about the regimental history, whichever unit you join. So you have to read the entire regimental history, then you are supposed to undergo a test, written examination. Only if you pass that, then you are allowed to do certain things. And now we have another system wherein the moment a youngster joins the regiment, he spends his initial 1 month with the men. He does not go into the officers' mess, live the kind of life which they are doing. So you experience how they are living, aware about each and every problem which they are facing. And another thing is they also accept you better. So it creates a very good bonding. And then, of course, senior subaltern is there to guide you, train you, teach you each and every aspects, not only of your professional life, but also how to conduct yourself, what are the systems and traditions, and you have to follow how to conduct yourself with the socially. So it is a very good system to start with. And thereafter, you have your squadron commanders, you have the commanding officers in the armored corps, and similarly in the infantry and other unit, you have the company commander. And so those, every stage you have some mentor with you who keeps on guiding you professionally and otherwise to keep you on the right track. So you can't say that there's only one mentor. There have been a series of mentors who are working with you at every stage in life. But yes, your first commanding officer when you join the regiment does have a special, because he's like a father figure. So I remember when I joined the regiment, we were almost about 10 youngsters, all bachelors, and our commanding officer, his name is Brigadier H.C. Singh. He trained us a lot. When you were in the office, when you were on parade, he used to be very tough with you. But in the evening, even if you go to his house, he'll treat you like his own child. His wife will treat you like her own son. So there's like a very big family. And similarly, as you go in service, you also mentor when the youngsters come. So it is a continuous process in the armed forces.
So what are the steps to join Indian Army?
These days, there are a lot of options available for the youngsters who want to join the army, armed forces, I would rather say, instead of army, right from the school days. So first step is, which everybody knows, is the NDA, National Defence Academy, Khadagwasla. So for that, after your 12th, you have to write an entrance exam, which is conducted by UPSC. Once you have cleared the exam, that you have to give a choice whether you want to join the army or the navy or the air force. Only thing which is required, especially for the navy and air force, is that you should have PCM as your subjects in your 12th board examination. Because navy and air force are more technically oriented, whereas in the army, even a plain arts or commerce or other humanities student can also join the army. When you fill up your form, you have to give a choice of arms you want to join, whether army, navy, air force, first, second, third choice, based upon for what you are eligible for. Once you have cleared your written exam, then you go for the SSB interview process. That is a process of about 5 days, wherein they make you undergo a series of tests, starting from your initial aptitude test. Then you have a series of psychological tests. Then you have certain group tasks and individual tasks. And there is a group of examiners, including a psychologist, who are observing you and testing you and checking your performance at each stage. And at the end of the entire procedure, they all sit together and see whether you fit that QR, which is minimum QR, which is required for anybody to join as an officer. So if you qualify in all those different tests, then you get selected. But even if you are failing in even one of these, then you will not get selected. And so they want to see is how you behave naturally, especially when you are under pressure, when you are under a group, and can you work with others as a team. Some people who automatically take charge of things, okay, they have that instinctive aptitude in them, and there's some people who are initially very shy and later on they open up. So all those things are tested, and that is the basic process as far as your SSB is concerned. So apart from NDA, you also have a technical entry scheme. This is called 10+2 technical entry scheme, wherein if you are a science student, PCM, then you don't have to write an exam. You should have at least minimum 70% marks in your 12th board examination. You fill up the form online and they call you for SSB interview. If you clear the SSB interview, then your training is for 5 years. So wherein you get a engineering degree and you join technical arms like engineers or signals or core of EME, electrical and mechanical engineers. And as far as Navy and Air Force is concerned, Navy, everybody who joins Navy, after their initial 3 years of training in NDA, then they go to their academies, like Army cadets go to IIM Dehradun, Naval cadets go to Naval Academy in SMLI, and Air Force cadets go to Hyderabad. So Air Force cadets get flying training, whereas the Navy, they get an engineering degree after their completing, and they get commissioned as sub-lieutenants. In Air Force, you are flight lieutenant. In the Army, you get commissioned as a lieutenant. When I joined, we were commissioned as a second lieutenant, and then captain. So that is second entry, which is available for you to join directly after school. In addition, those who are in the medical stream, they can join the Armed Forces Medical College. For them, you have to write that NEET common entrance exam for medical, and you have to give a choice for if you want to be considered for AFMC. Once you have cleared the exam, then you go for interview, and then you get selected. You do your 5 years of complete medicine course in AFMC, and then you get commissioned as a doctors. You are the medical officers. So that is another thing available to you after your 12th exam. In addition, like in Army, Air Force and Navy also, you have the same technical entry scheme where one is directly through NDA, other is you can join directly and do that full course at the Naval Academy only. And that is first part. Then if you are for some reason not able to get through in NDA or not able to join, or you don't want to join, you feel first let me enjoy my college life and thereafter I will think. So then you have this CDS option available. So you give the Combined Defense Services exam. And again, then you go through the process of SSB for both Air Force, Navy and Army. And Army, again, there's one more option that you can either join as a regular Command Commission Officer. So for that, you go to IMA, or you go to as a short service officer. For that, you go to OTA, Chennai. As far as the girls are concerned, for them, if they are of medical background, then they can join AFMC. And they can become medical officers. Otherwise, they have to finish their graduation, and after that, they have to write the serious exam, and they go through the SSB, and they go to OTA Chennai. And once you clear your training, thereafter you get commissioned as officers like men. In Navy and Air Force also now women are joining. So there again you have to be a graduate, preferably a technical, and then you get selected and you can join as a lieutenant. So these are the main entry schemes which are available to you. In addition, there is one more scheme which is especially for the NCC cadets who have passed the C certificate examination. So for them, what they have to do is, if you have passed your C certificate examination, you don't have to write the exam. You go directly for the SSB interview, and you have to apply through the unit form where you have done your NCC. And they have a certain number of seats reserved for boys and also girls as NCC special entry scheme. However, what we used to tell our cadet in NCC was they don't rely purely on the NCC entry scheme, but also appear for the CDS if you are really keen on joining the armed forces, because then your chances of getting selected are more. Especially for girls, because for girls there are only 10% seats are available for in every course. So it comes to about 4 to 5 seats only. So if they apply for C certificate, NCC entry as well as for CDS, then your chances of getting selected are better. And one more entry is available for engineering students, so which is called as technical graduate entry scheme. So once you have finished your engineering, then you have to write the exam, and then you go to OTA Chennai. You get a short service commission. One advantage is that you get an entry date seniority of 2 years because you have done your engineering. And also, if you join after your final year, and then in some cases, meritorious cases, your fees which you have paid for your final year is also taken care of by the government. So that is one more entry scheme available for you to join the armed forces.
So what are do's and don'ts you would like to suggest to students who are preparing for armed forces?
Do's and don'ts, well, let's come to the do's first. For selection in the army as an officer, we are looking at your overall personality. So what we used to suggest to our cadets was that your general awareness and general knowledge should be good. So for that, what you need to do is you have to read the newspaper every day. Read especially the editorials columns of the newspapers. Whatever important events which are taking place, you take out the cutting and make a scrapbook. One is that. Then we used to tell them to prepare for your general knowledge by subscribing to these magazines like Manorama Yearbook, which is a very good base for preparing for all the subjects. Because like if you are a science student, then later on stage in life you don't give any attention to any other subject. But when you are going for SSB, you are checked for everything. And like you have a group discussion, you have to talk on, you can be asked to talk on any topic. So if your general knowledge is good, your base is strong, then you can talk on anything and you can talk with conviction. So that is one thing. And second thing is you have to be your natural self. Even if you have taken some kind of a guidance or training from some academy, when you go for the SSB, the examiner can easily make out whether you have taken any training from any academy or not. Because what happens is at times they tell you what to do and what not to do, and some people follow that like a rule. And if you do that, then you are hiding your natural instinct and you're parroting something which have been told to you. So that can be made out, and that at times comes as a disadvantage. So that is what is important. And above all, most important thing is that you should have the fire in your belly to join not only armed forces, any kind of profession.
What advice would you like to give to new officers who have just joined armed forces?
Initial few years they have to work with their men, know your men better. As it is a system like that, you have to spend maximum time with them. And in addition, you have to not only be seen as working with them, everything should come from inside. And then only they will accept you as their leader. Because what happens is, when you go in the operations, they are the only ones who are there with you in the time of crisis. Nobody will come from anywhere else from outside. So we have to participate in each and every event as part of the training or as part of sporting activity, even otherwise. So you have to really know your men better and lead by your personal example. Then what will happen is they will respect you and they will follow you blindly. In addition, whatever we have to undergo a lot of courses, training courses during our service. So whatever we do, we have to do it with honesty, integrity, and loyalty to the organization. Especially, we have a saying that the more you sweat in peace, less you bleed in war. So hard work, training, and training yourself, training your men, looking after your equipment. These are certain things when you have to know your equipment inside out. So that we used to have that training wherein you used to open your rifle with your eyes blindfolded. All those things one has to do seriously, and as you grow in service and rank, you will do much better in life.
So now we will start our rapid round, sir.
Okay.
Your favorite actor and actress?
My favorite actor is Amitabh Bachchan, and actress is I think Rakhi, then Madhuri Dixit.
Favorite destination?
My favorite destination, there are two places in India which I have been planning to visit, which I have not been able to do. One is the Andaman Nicobars, and the other is Lakshadweep. So these are two main destinations in India, and of course outside, one would like to visit the entire Europe, especially.
Favorite color?
Favorite color is black.
Favorite car?
Favorite car, I have a Honda Amaze.
Things in your wish list?
Things in my wish list is to travel the entire world, and if possible get a chance to cycle from Kashmir to Kanyakumari.
One thing that you would like to change if you are given superpower?
To bring the feeling of nationalism, national character in our people.
Second choice of career?
My second choice of career has already started. First choice was Army. Now since I've finished my Army service, so my second choice is to coach and mentor the young generation to help them achieve their dreams.
One line that defines you?
One line that defines me: tough time never lasts, tough people always do.
Thank you very much, sir, for sharing your journey.
Thank you, Gaurav. It was an amazing experience interacting with you. Thank you for giving me a chance to come on your show.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you.